This is Montgomery Mosaic on 1450 WOL, WPRS, HD2, and worldwide on WOLDCnews.com. Montgomery Mosaic features topics of interest to Montgomery County residents, businesses, and visitors. Here now is your host, Deborah Milo.
Well, good morning, Montgomery County, and welcome, of course, to another edition of Montgomery Mosaic. I'm your host, Deborah Milo. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you're having a great day. Before we get started today, I wanted to be sure to talk to you about today's the Design for Life Property Tax Credit. Now, it's offered by Montgomery County, and it's a program where you can build or renovate your home with accessible features for Design for Life Property Tax Credit to help with the costs. Plan to attend the Design for Life Showcase and meet building professionals displaying examples of beautiful homes with accessible features. The showcase is going to take place on Saturday, May 13th, which is next week, at the Silver Spring Civic Building from 10 a.m. to 2. Admission is free. The Design for Life is for all ages and all stages. Now, for more information, of course, you can call 311 or you can go to designforlifemc.org. Well, listeners, I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you made a concerted effort to make exercise a family affair? Maybe go outside, ride a bike with your kids or your grandkids. Well, my guest today is going to talk about fathers taking the lead and getting their families healthy. Meet Kamati Rollins, founder of Fit Fathers, a not-for-profit corporation that helps fathers lead their families to healthier lifestyle habits. Kamati, welcome to Montgomery Mosaic. It's a pleasure to have you.
Deborah, thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate this.
Yours is a very interesting story as to how you created Fit Fathers. Can you paint a picture for our listeners of what was happening in your life before Fit Fathers?
Certainly. So it started as an athlete at Georgia Tech. You know, I played football, and working out 5-6 days a week was a daily regimen. Of course, after I graduated, I kind of lost my way. Lifestyle was exciting, traveling, drinking, eating late. I'm just having a good time as a young man. And it caught up to me, of course. And around 35, looked in the mirror, and I was 50 pounds overweight, and I really didn't have the energy and the stamina that I once had. And I was like, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to make a change. And I'm one of those individuals where there's really no in between. The pendulum is either all the way left or it's all the way right. And I was like, okay, I'm going to switch it up today. The problem is that when people decide to make lifestyle changes, they put a future date on it. Oh, in 3 weeks, I'm going to start the program. But then when that day comes, you're not in the same state of mind as you were when you initiated the thought.
That's right.
The energy level and the anticipation is not there. So if you have that thought, go ahead and execute it right away. So I decided to sign up for a run, a marathon actually, and I was up there. I was like, if I complete this marathon, then I'm going to stay the course. And basically the course was more focused on nutrition, although fitness was an integral part of that formula. Right. And I realized that we weren't really eating the way we should, not as an individual and as a family. So I decided to study more about nutrition, take some courses, get some certifications, and use that training to help my family and teach my girls why we eat so many fruits and vegetables, not just force them to eat them, but let them understand it. Hey, too much sugar or too much fat in the diet may lead to type 2 diabetes.
Serious health issues.
Serious health issues. Heart disease, number one killer of Americans. 500,000 people succumb to this every year. You eat a lot of foods high in cholesterol and saturated fats, it's going to have an effect later in life on the health of your heart. So now that they understand these things, they can make better choices for themselves. So I'll take them shopping with me. They pick out their favorite fruits, their favorite vegetables. I help them understand what a cruciferous vegetable is and why we should eat at least one a day.
A lot of folks don't understand that.
Right. That's your leafy vegetables, cauliflower, asparagus.
That's right.
Brussels, because they have more phytochemicals in there to fight off free radicals, which lead to chronic diseases like cancers, et cetera. So
this is all about defining a different life strategy for yourself and for your family.
And you have to totally reprogram everything, starting with your mindset. It's not just, oh, I'm going to do this workout for 3 weeks and then I'll be back on track. You really have to unlearn all of the negative habits, from childhood. And I've come from the inner city, Camden, New Jersey. And there, we had no frills brands, government cheese, powdered milk, Wonder White bread that turned to paste when it got wet.
I remember that.
And that was very challenging to unlearn, because that's what we thought was food.
Well, that's and that's what my next question was going to be, was that understanding how to develop that health-centric mindset. I was just kind of looking at your credentials, and I was so impressed. Lifestyle coach, group fitness instructor, plant-based nutrition certification. I mean, that's serious right there, and wellness motivational speaker. Just those things alone sound like they helped you to develop the mindset to be more health-centric. Is that right?
Exactly. Along the training for my marathon, I started researching a bunch of athletes that were plant-based. And these individuals, like Scott Jurek, were running like 100-mile races, and they were eating plants.
Wow.
And I decided to give it a shot, and surely enough, it worked, and I started researching it more. And the misconception is that we need more protein. Where our body is actually fueled by carbohydrates.
That's right.
Complex carbs are the best, which turns into glucose, which fuels our cells. So it's literally like our gasoline to our engines. And carbohydrates are your fruits and vegetables and your grains, brown rice over white rice, quinoa.
Love quinoa.
Yes, which is also a complete protein.
Yep.
And then when you break down the nutrients, we really don't need that many proteins. Only like 10 to 15% of your dietary staple needs to comprise of protein, which is needed for cellular repair after workouts, things of that nature.
Well, we can definitely talk about food a little later, because that's actually one of my favorite topics, to say the least. Good food, mind you, good food.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about the impact, because I know how important the looking at how we look at our families. I want to talk about the impact of obesity in kids. Talk a little bit about why we're looking at such higher rates now within our families and our kids.
Well, I think it starts in the school system, for one, because the standards are really not up to par in comparison to what the European Union's doing and what Canada's doing and the regulations that they have.
Right.
I mean, we haven't even passed ordinance for proper food labeling, so we know what ingredients we're eating. It's in what level of GMOs are in our foods.
Right.
So it really starts in the educational program. I was just talking to one of my cousins who's she's the head of food resources for a school in Delaware, and she's still upset that French fries are labeled by the government as a vegetable.
Labeled as a vegetable?
Yes. So,
it's frightening.
Yes, and then, kids, they follow each other. So one bad habit can lead to 1,000 bad habits, because
of course,
they want to be in the know, they want to be cool, they want to follow their peers, and the majority of the peers are eating fast foods, deep fried foods, lots of snacks. And, diabetes, obesity is a result of sugar, but also a result of fat. And we don't really know what fat content we're taking in and what good fats versus bad fats that we're eating. So I think we really have to develop a mantra of one ingredient foods, and those are our whole foods. But the problem is that the processed foods, the boxed foods, is what's taking control. And when we shop, we shop within the aisles instead of around the aisles where the fresh foods are. And the kids see this, the kids pick up these habits, the kids get familiar with these name brands, Sugar Smacks, Captain Crunch, the same cereals we ate.
Same stuff.
But now the advertising budgets are bigger. and they're in more places. They're on your apps, they're on your social media.
Yes, they are.
They're in the movie theaters, commercials in between the previews.
And kids are seeing all this.
Yes, and it's becoming common knowledge to them, and they fight against nutrition. So when you show them the better way, the healthier way, they feel threatened because that's not what they're used to, and they feel as though you're wrong and the advertising is correct. And it's really sad, and parents have to take a greater control over what their kids are eating, like not bringing sodas in the house. That one simple step can cut down on your calories, your sugar intake tremendously. We're supposed to have no more than 25 grams of sugar daily.
That's right.
And the average bottle of soda can have up to 60. And right there, you already done hit your threshold, but you still have more food to eat throughout the day.
I know
it's
what
more
you
about
mean.
Parents taking control, reading the labels, and helping their kids understand this as well.
Hello again, listeners, and thank you for tuning into Montgomery Mosaic on Talk Radio 1450 WOL. I'm your host, Deborah Milo, and my guest today is Kimotney Rollins, founder of Fit Fathers, and we're talking about the importance of staying healthy and fit with your families. And Kimotney and I were talking about the impact of obesity in kids. So what are some of the ways you encourage kids to exercise?
Exercise has to be fun. It has to be entertaining. And it has to be done with their peers. So, for example, when my kids' friends stay over, I let them sleep in. But after they get up, we go out and we go for a group run. We play basketball. We play soccer. And I always give them little prizes for the winners. It could be something small, like, the winner, I'll give you $5. Or I'm going to make you a smoothie, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So you want them to get to a point where they turn it into competitive workouts. So my daughter and her best friend, or they play the same sports, for example, soccer, basketball, and they run.
Right.
So I make sure that at my house we have a court, we have soccer nets, so they're always out there. But for my older daughter, 13, she's kind of more hip. She thinks she's more cool, so I have to go a little bit deeper into the strategy. So with her, even though she plays soccer and runs track, when she's home, she just wants to chill and relax. And I tell her that.
And play with her phone.
And play with her phone. So for her, I kind of got to bribe her a little bit. But nevertheless, the goal is to make it entertaining and fun. So hosting group workouts, social workouts, is one of our formulas where we might invite anywhere from 10 to 100 families out, and they bring their kids, and we go to a field or a track, and everyone's having fun, everyone's challenging each other, and then we have healthy drinks afterwards.
The healthy drinks afterwards, I think, is so vital, because it's helping them to understand the necessity of keeping that, the way their energy level is in their bodies, to keep that, they want to keep that, for lack of a better way of saying it, keep that natural high.
And that's how I explain it. Like, this is energy, and, you have a 2-hour practice, you're going to need this before or after, and they're like, oh, okay, opposed to drinking a sugary drink or soda, which they may sneak from school.
Of course.
Or somewhere.
They're always going to do that, but you know what? You'll be there to make sure that they get the best nutrition that they can.
Yes.
You're listening to Montgomery Mosaic on Talk Radio 1450 WOL with your host, Deborah Milo, and my guest today is Kimotney Rollins, founder of Fit Fathers. Now, we're going to take a quick break and talk more about fitness when we come back. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We're going to get healthy today. And welcome back, Montgomery County friends, to Montgomery Mosaic on Talk Radio 1450 WOL. This is Deborah Milo, your host. And before we went to break, Kimotney and I were talking about sugar levels and food and all the things that go into trying to help young people and kids to really, really stay away from the bad stuff. So, Kimotney, talk a little bit about the dangers of the yo-yo diet. Can you enlighten us about it? Because I notice a lot of young people seem to be really getting into that trend as well.
It's a temporary solution, and what individuals need to understand is that long-term positive health is a commitment, and it's not a trend. It's not a trend. It's a lifestyle change. And we don't understand that reprogramming the way we think about eating and fitness, should be a daily regimen. So even like the South Beach diet, when things like that came out, people think that in a few weeks or a few months they can lose weight and then they'll be healthy. Not understanding how the body works. Sometimes that's water weight. Sometimes if it comes off too quickly, you'll regain it right back because it wasn't done correctly. About 80% of it is always going to be nutrition.
Wow.
Another misconception is that if I work out intensely, I can eat whatever I want.
Right.
So people don't understand caloric intake and the comparison between calories burned and calories earned. So you may work out for an hour and burn anywhere from 300 to 600 calories. Yet a full meal, let's say that you have a chicken sandwich with some fries and a sugary drink, may be 800 to 900 calories.
My goodness.
So once they understand that we need about 2,200 calories for our daily activities,
right.
They'll better understand how to approach dieting, which always should be lifestyle-based, not a temporary fix. Hey, spring is coming, I'm going to the beach, I got to get my beach body back.
Right.
I'm going to do this for 2 weeks, and then I'll be fine. I'm going to go on a fast for a week, and then I'll be fine, which is contrary to popular belief. The body just does not work like that.
No, it doesn't. It wasn't designed like that. It wasn't designed like that. I know that timing is a real challenge for many parents and families as they try to incorporate exercise into the family routine. Now, you have a success rate with that. How did you and your family set aside time to exercise?
You know what? As humans, we will always make time for things that we feel are important to us.
True.
Whether it's who we call back, what event we decide to attend, or if we decide to adapt a fitness or health regimen. So that's why I said earlier that you have to reprogram the mind first,
right,
and educate the mind that we're going through a transition, and this transition is going to be permanent. So when I come to a crossroad, I want the mind to say, hey, let's go right, because over there are some fruits, some vegetables, and 30 minutes of spinning class. To the left is our computer, our iPhone, and a couple meetings. So what do we decide to set time for? So we just decide to say, hey, we're going to get up earlier, or we're going to say no to certain things we used to say yes to,
right,
and we're going to replace that with the hour or the hour and a half of activity that we need. Or we're going to turn some traditional habits like going out to eat into, lifestyle habits. So let's go for a hike or a trail walk and a picnic outside and enjoy nature at the same time.
That's right.
But a lot of families don't think that way. We have in our mindset that it has to be quick. We have to eat fast because we don't have enough time. And that alone, takes away from the values instilled from family building, because we don't sit down together.
That's right.
And eat together.
That's right.
We're just slothing down this food, and then we're on to our next thing. Thus, we're going to the movies, whatever it is. So we have to adhere to patience and give the body its commitment that it needs. So our family said, hey, we're going to do this together. The kids are in sports. My wife, she runs more than anything. So
beautiful.
I know that if I offer myself to what she wants to do, which is running, that it's going to help her more.
Right.
And then the days that I'm away, she's going to do the same for the kids. And if both parents collectively, if you're fortunate enough to have a family with both parents, I didn't growing up, so it's pretty challenging.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you are fortunate to have both parents, then those values are instilled at a stronger rate.
That's
so the
true.
child has a greater propensity to make proper decisions when they're on their own, opposed to, hey, well, my mom does this and my dad doesn't do anything, so I'm going to flow with what dad's doing today. And that's why I think it was so important for dads to step up and play a more integral role in the matriarchal roles of the household and do more cooking, do more shopping, attend the PTA meetings, get more involved, and the child sees that, and she'll look for a future husband with those same values as dad.
It all begins with the changing of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is Montgomery Mosaic on Talk Radio 1450 WOL. I'm your host, Deborah Milo. We're glad you've joined us today, County friends. My guest is Kip Montney Rollins, founder of Fit Fathers. We're having a great discussion about fitness and how fathers can engage their families to exercise with them. I know sugar in all of its forms has gotten a really bad rap, as which it should. A lot of studies have actually alluded that sugar could be a drug. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
The study has shown that the effects of sugar on the brain is similar to opiates.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
And that's why we're so hooked and addicted to it. Because the craving it's initiated in the brain.
Right.
And the problem with sugar is that it's empty calories, so it always says more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
If you give a kid a piece of cake, and even if you cut it into 3 and say, hey, this is your portion for the day, they're going to want the other 2/3 as well. And if you're not looking, they're going to eat it. And so, yeah, it is like a drug, and it comes in so many different forms. And these fast food companies and the FDA, there's no transparency.
Right.
It's all about profit.
Right.
And it's very sad. So, one of the things is try to replace that sugar with natural sugars, which are in fruits.
Exactly.
And if we can eat the fruits in its wholest form possible, the idea is, because even some people say, well, there's sugar in fruits. The idea is that the fiber slows down the sugar release. The glucose ups and downs are moderated.
So they don't spike.
Exactly. But, when you process it and you put it in fruit juices and box it up, there's no fiber. So, of course,
right.
The effect is just as quick as, eating a teaspoon of sugar directly.
Mm. In your opinion, are organic foods safer and healthier than conventional alternatives?
In my opinion, yes. There's no concrete evidence saying one is better than the other, but
right.
There's concrete evidence saying that organics provide a little more antioxidants because they're not using up their antioxidants, fighting off the chemicals in pesticides and the strains that the Monsantos are putting in, the resistant strains. So the vegetable and the fruit is not spending all their energy fighting those off. So the organic foods provide supposedly, theoretically, more energy and more phytochemicals and phytonutrients.
Okay. Like I said, you are very knowledgeable when it comes to understanding how the body reacts to food and vice versa. And that's something most people will not take the time to discover. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about, I want to hear about the website. Is there a website that our listeners can visit in order to get more information about Fit Fathers?
Yes, and it's very simple, fitfathers.com.
Oh, nice. Okay, fitfathers.com, okay.
The goal was to make this a multimedia company and program. So, like I said, education is key first. So the website features a plethora of articles, relating to family fitness, even, family travels and adventures.
Oh, yeah, I've read some of that.
Recipes. We have lots of recipes.
Recipes are awesome.
I am a vegan myself for 7 years.
Very nice.
Even though I don't push my veganism onto our followers,
right.
All of our recipes are vegan-based, and we talk about the benefits of plant-based eating in case you want to set forth on that journey yourself and how to do it properly, because some people go into veganism and they still want that craving and that taste of some of the foods they replace.
Oh, yes.
So they eat the processed vegan foods, which are could be just as bad as the foods they're replacing. especially with the level of ingredients. If you see a package with 50 ingredients on it, you should definitely put it back down.
Walk away. Back away from the package. No, I understand that, to say the least. My husband and I are kind of on the road there, but we have not gotten to where you are. But the red meat thing, we've had to eliminate it.
That's great.
We've had to eliminate it totally, and when we do seem to get that craving, what we do is we try to incorporate more vegetables.
Right.
More vegetables and lots of quinoa. Lots of quinoa into our diet, so
And fiber, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only 2% of Americans meet the RDA for fiber intake, which is a cause for some of the chronic diseases like colon cancer.
Yeah.
And it's more satiating if you eat foods that are fibrous.
Well, needless to say, Katmani, we're going to have you come back on the show because we didn't even get through half of the material, but I wanted to thank you for taking time away from your exhaustive schedule to spend some time with us today.
Oh, no problem. And then one last word is we have a big event for Father's Day on June 18th. It's called Fit Father's Day, downtown Silver Spring, Veterans Plaza at 10 a.m.
All right, folks. Don't forget to tune in again next month for another Montgomery Mosaic on 1450 WOL, WPRS HD2, and worldwide on WOLDCnews.com. Till next time, County friends, be good to yourself and others and stay healthy.
One love.
You've been listening to Montgomery Mosaic, featuring topics of interest to Montgomery County residents, businesses, and visitors. For more information or a copy of the show, email publicinformation@montgomerymd.gov or call 240-777-6507. Be sure to tune in at this time on the second Wednesday every month for Montgomery Mosaic on 1450 WOL.